hairstyles makes me so excited. You know that I look phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
How good is that?
We don't even need to leave the office. It's like,
I know, that's so good.
no, that's a game changer. And so I'm at my desk, I'm at my studio. Like,
So how many can you bang out in a day?
I only ever do 2 in a day because I always have to work. I have my job.
You're like, Jeannie, the whole point of my work
I'm like, Jeannie, I had to go to work. I got a conference call.
But you bang out too, it's still huge.
Yeah, and that's like so nice. Like that's the way that I love to do it. And I try to do them like back to back. But I also just love, like, can you imagine that this was a cupboard full of, you know,
Pantry stuff?
Underwear, like boxes.
I can't.
Yes. It was full.
Everything, which is why the sound is so good in
How
here.
are we doing?
Yeah, are we going in? Guess what, guys? We are live right now, and let me tell you who I am. I am Jeannie the Mai, and I am so hyped to be here. Because listen, okay? This is a very special night because I'm not just sitting down with someone that I admire professionally, but I'm talking to one of my dear friends who hasn't just built, you good girl? Who hasn't just built companies, but she built culture, people. Emma Grede is a founder, an entrepreneur, an author, and a mom, and she has a vision and a discipline that just completely refuses to ask for permission. So we are starting today, right?
There she goes.
We're starting today to tell you about her exciting new baby that she just birthed. Start with yourself. But we are flipping the script because people say that when you want to understand somebody, you're supposed to walk a mile in their heels. No, guys, I'm not walking in your shoes, girl. I am sitting in your chair.
Ain't she just?
So welcome to your own interview hosted by me. I am so honored to be here, Emma.
Honestly, first of all, I just have to say thank you so much because I was just trying to remember how I've ended up with you in the seat. I cannot think of anybody better to host this with because your energy is just ridiculous and infectious. But it was at your little one's birthday party.
Yes,
we're standing there queuing up for some cotton candy, and you said, "Listen, if there's anything that I can do," and I was like, "Well, girl,
and you're like, actually, there's a thing coming up," and I was like, "Done," because I'm the hostess with the mostest that will always cover you. And by the way, you showed up with your 2 kids by yourself. I had friends with nannies. I had friends with all the just all the help that they could have. I had my little brother helping, but you were there by yourself wrangling these kids with cotton candy, and that's
my nannies are in disguise. They're in the bushes.
It's so true, though.
I very rarely go anywhere without nannies. I'm not even going to front on that one. It was just so happened to be the day. I ditched 2 of them and the other 2 came with me.
Yeah, but Emma, you say that humbly, but I've seen you. We've trick-or-treated together. I've run around your own yard with your kids. I've seen you mother. I've seen you welcome me as a guest to your table. You've opened the seats for other women so that they would be elevated. You've raised the standards within all of us within conversation that we didn't even know needed to be raised. And you always, wherever you are in life, you scoot over so that others can fit in right next to you. And now you've created a book to teach us how to do it ourselves. So I hold this with such pride because I'm one of the first to have received it and to have dove into it myself. It's so good. You did not hold back. I'm actually surprised at how many NDAs you got signed to be able to share so many good stories. Yeah. So first of all, the title. Why start with yourself? Because I'm like, start with like an investor. Start with like some skills on how to talk to people. Start with yourself for real? You think
Start with yourself.
Anybody can be where you are?
First of all, anybody. And this is a book that's ultimately about self-leadership. And that's what I want everybody to understand because wherever I go in the world, it doesn't matter if I'm out on the street, if I am, doing the school run, if I'm at a conference, women ask me the same thing. They ask me how I've got to where I am today. And they are not asking me because they want to know how I got there. They want to know how they can get there. Mm-hmm. And so what I tried to do is take everything that I've learned. I'm not an expert in anything, Jeannie. I've just done what I've done and I'm being super real. There's a lot of business books out there. There's a lot of self-help and a lot of mindset books. I'm just trying to be really honest about what has worked for me and also make sure that it is just not wrapped up in this idea of toxic positivity because at the end of the day, it takes a lot. It takes the most. So I have done a book that is full of all the mistakes that I've made, full of all of the failures in the hope that I can shed some light on the things that actually help people be successful and help them live the life of their dreams because that's what we all want. At the end of the day, all of us want to live our lives in the way that makes most sense to us, and in a way that, you know, it's like, how do you make the best of your gifts? Like,
Right.
how do you take what you're uniquely here to do and make sure that you can do that? And that's what this book is about. So yes, it starts with
Yeah.
yourself. Like, we all know that there are obstacles and we don't all start out with the same advantages in life.
Yes.
But I think that this is about what you can do and what you're uniquely positioned to do. And that's what we're going to talk about.
I think that's the most honest thing you could possibly say, because I know this about you. I know your upbringing. I know that you did not get blessed with everything that you have now.
no.
So you truly knew what it was to work inch by inch to gain the experience, the education, the understanding, the room, the yourself to get there. So when you decided to write this right now, where it feels like you're just getting started, even though you're at a peak of success that most would dream to be at, why did you decide to write the book right now?
I think it's really needed, because I think that we live in a climate right now where, you know, social media will have us believe that, you know, things are just what, you know, we post and we put out there, that
Yeah.
everything's so easy. And what I
Yes.
know, and this is coming from someone who, you know, hosts their own podcast, you cannot watch your way to success.
Right.
You cannot listen your way to success. You got to get in there and you got to work, and it takes a really long time. And I honestly thought about this book in the sense of it being like something that people can use, like a useful tool that anybody can take. Because what I know is that if you hide ambition, right? If you are the type of person that decides that, you know, it's like you're going to hide it behind politeness, you're going to have like soft ambition, you're never going to get there. You have to have a set of like a mindset that is going to take you there. And at the end of the day, if you want, you know, if you're an ambitious person, it's going to require a level of discomfort. And if you want to make money, it's going to require some audacity. And if you want to big career and to live a life of your dreams, then you are going to have to put yourself out there. If you want a family,
Right.
it requires some timing, and that timing might not be what we've been telling people for the longest time.
Right.
And let me tell you, Jeannie, if you want power, and we desperately need more women in positions of power, then you are going to need to take it, because no one is coming to drop power in your lap. No one's coming to give it to you. So this book is really about all of those things. It's about taking what you have and leveraging it and getting the most out of your life.
Absolutely. And I want to make sure, as we're talking about this book, you guys are all aware that in order to get this book, you've got to comment shop right now to get your copy. And I would not just stop at getting yourself one, because I've actually already, I don't think you know this, but I've already pre-ordered about 20 for my friends. Because
Oh, God.
as soon as I read this, I was blown away by how easy it was to follow, including a workbook. There's a workbook element that you incorporated in here, because you want to make sure that as we're reading it, we're taking notes.
I want you
and
to use it.
applying immediately what you're teaching us. And I love that in the first chapter, you said exactly what you said here about the word audacity. You said you have never been afraid to ask for things yourself. I'm going to start right here by saying that I think most people out there are feared by just that. That's the first thing that keeps us
Small.
waiting,
Yeah.
and hoping that somebody will offer the hand, because we don't know how to ask for ourselves. How did you get there? And for anybody who is afraid to ask for themselves, how do they get the audacity?
You know, it's really difficult, because I feel like it's not, you know, we've kind of decided that it's like you're either wired that way or you're not. And what
Okay.
I'm saying is everything is learnable, everything is teachable. And so I think about myself as someone who's always in learning mode. Jeannie, I make sure that I'm learning something every day. Like right now, I'm obsessed with AI. I'm
Yeah.
trying to like catch up every day and teach myself something. But I've been like that since I was a kid. And I think that what's really important is that you are always trying to move in the direction of the place that you want to go.
Yes.
So you can't just think this stuff, you've got to put it into action. And, you know, I was raised like, you know, in East London, single mum, eldest of 4 girls. And my mum always used to say the same thing. I've said it a million times, but I'll say it again because I think it's really important. She said, Emma, you know, you are not better than anyone else, but nor is anyone better than you. And that really signaled this idea to me that like anything was possible so long as I was willing to work hard for it.
Yes.
And so I've just said that to myself. The audacity doesn't come because it was magically planted in me. I have learned through failure.
Right.
I've learned and got good and built resilience through doing things and them not working and then figuring out another way.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like that thing of like, in America, you guys always go, there's nothing to it but to do it, right?
Yeah.
It's like you have to go through things. You learn to get stronger and you learn resilience and you learn all of this stuff by just doing. And so we need more, specifically women, just to have the opportunity to do, to get out in front of yourself and just do it.
What was the scariest thing you had to ask for yourself?
I mean, what's not scary? You know, in the beginning of my career, just asking for a pay rise is scary,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Asking
you're
for
right.
what it is that you feel like you deserve.
Yeah.
And that's why I talk about money so much. Like there's a whole chapter in the book that's about money.
It's the number one thing that women are afraid of.
Like, and we need it, right? And so oftentimes that's not about us. That's about our need to please other people.
Right.
And you will devalue your own worth to make sure that you're giving everybody else. It's like, you know, am I making sure that this person's got what they need? And perhaps, you know, if they get this over here, then another person can't get it over there. We can't think about money in the sense of scarcity. There is so much to go around.
Right.
And if you think about the differences in the way that women approach the subjects often, right? Not every woman, but very often, and the way men do, it's really different. And what I want everybody to understand is there is enough to go around. We are past the time that because you get something, it means that I miss out.
Right.
We're not there anymore. So actually what's really important is that women remain in community with one another.
Yeah.
We need to share our information. I need you to know when there's an opportunity and I need you to know what I'm getting so that you feel good about asking what you need to get. So for me, like what I'm trying to do in this book is like be really honest and go like, here's the way I got these things. This is what I did. This was the path. This is how I asked. This is what I did. These are the tricks I used.
And sometimes we have to hear that and see it in action to understand that it's seeing the language in how you wrote it and some of these difficulties that you had just made me, it immediately made me compare myself like, wait, I've been there. And I just didn't walk that extra step to just see what that outcome was.
That's what half of it is, just like knowing that it's possible, right? You can't be what you don't see.
Right.
And sometimes you just need the model out in front of you. So you can go, oh my God, I can do that too.
Completely.
There's nothing so special about me, Jeannie.
Yes.
Nothing at all.
Yes. And I love that you made this session so engaging for all of us, because start with yourself, you guys. It's not just a moment here on a Talk Shop Live, but you guys are able to engage with us because you're able to ask questions. I'm going to be incorporating your audience questions later on. And if you're watching on Talk Shop Live, make sure to click the shop button so you get a link to shop your book for your friends, for your cousins, for your neighbors, for everybody else out there who knows how to start with themselves. And if you're watching on Facebook or Instagram, comment the word shop for links to order. I want to see those words shops beaten up out there, okay? And if you're watching on YouTube, also click the link in the description so that we can see your shop, you can see your request to shop, and then we can also get your audience questions in this as well.
Jeannie's, anyone ever told you you need like a channel? You
Why?
need a shop. We should make like the Jeannie shop. You could sell anything.
I know.
I want to buy my book right now.
I know. Let me be honest with you though. When I read this, I was like, this is.
You called me. You were like, oh.
I was so shook. I feel like when we're in the hotels and we see the Bible there, this should be right on top of it. Like, it should be a Bible and then a start with yourself, because this is a kickstart to everything. But it's not just about business. It's about motherhood. It's about confidence in thyself. It's about a relationship with yourself and the deservedness to ask, to just go ahead and start with the base of who you are and take whatever you have and take it in front of everybody else.
Well, here's the thing that I understood very early on, because of course, for me, I started writing a book that was about building a brand and creating a business and what it takes to do marketing well. And so that was like my comfort level. And then I had to kind of sit down with myself and go, why is it that I've been able to do these things and how? And so much of it, especially for women, our decision making is kind of loaded and coded by our emotions.
Yes.
And so I wrote a lot about anger, and I wrote about guilt, and I wrote about being joyful, and I wrote about sadness.
And you even got very honest and gosh, I would say, I even felt a lot of your pain as you were explaining some of the things that you felt maybe a little bit remorse about in your anger.
Because I feel like there is no point in trying to write something that people can't see themselves in. And at the end of the day, we all have really difficult times. To imagine that I woke up at 43 years of age and fell into this life just isn't the truth. Like, I've had real big disappointments, professional disappointments and personal disappointments, but that's enabled me to be able to write a book like this and be able to live the life that I live. But I do think that understanding mistakes and being able to contextualize them and thinking about it in the sense of, you're not a mistake, right? These things happen. And when you're in business, like a lot of stuff happens.
Yes.
And you cannot internalize that and think that you're at fault, that you don't deserve to do things, that you shouldn't be in the position that you are. You have to make decisions, move on, take the mistakes,
Right.
suck them up, learn from them, and just go. And so that's what I'm trying to really make sure people understand. Like, you are not supposed to know. You're not supposed to get everything right. And so that is so much a part of what this book is about. It's showing the real, true, honest face of what it is.
Emma, you're right now preaching one of the most important of the 4 agreements. Have you read the 4 agreements?
I love the 4 agreements.
Okay.
One of the best books ever.
Ever, right? A Bible to life, honestly. And one of them is to not take things personally. When did you learn that?
You know, it's so funny. I'm going to tell you such a good story. As it's no secret to anyone who knows me that I am obsessed with Oprah Winfrey.
Okay.
Like obsessed. And I remember like hearing her tell a story when I was a kid that, you know, she had some kind of big professional disappointment, something happening in her life that was like a court case. And that night she was invited to Quincy Jones, and she turns up at Quincy Jones and she's like, "Can you believe what's happening?" And he was like, "What, girl?" And she was like, "Well, you haven't seen, like, it's on the news. Like, she's Oprah, you know?"
Yeah.
And he was like, had no idea, straight over the head. And it's
Okay.
like, nobody is watching you like you're watching
Oh.
you, right? Like, no one. And you have to realize that. So it's like
It's
the
not
stories.
all about you.
It's not all about you, but the stories that you tell yourself are really, really important. And when you start
God.
understanding that, and when you start going, you know what? It's like, you're going to make mistakes. Like, nobody's watching.
Yeah.
It actually, like, half the time, not that it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
but it's not the, like, you know, the end. It's
Yes.
not the be all and the end all. And as soon as you start to realize that, you can start to, like,
Brush your shoulders off.
you just start to get a little bit used to it. You're like, okay, like, what did I learn? I'm moving on.
That's such a good
not that deep.
lightheartedness. And that's
It's not
such a
that deep.
good take to business, because you will have a lot of people cut you, and you will have a lot of people who try you.
Well, listen, and if you do anything well, you will have a lot of disappointments. Like, I always think
If you
about...
do anything well, you will have a lot of disappointments.
No, it's inevitable. You can't sail through life with no disappointments. And in fact, I think that, you know, I learned this thing, the rule of thirds, which is this idea that if you are doing something big, or if you're chasing a dream, or if you're like pushing yourself, you will be happy about a third of the time. And the other third of the time, you'll feel kind of indifferent. You'll be like, whatever.
Sure.
And the final third of the time, you will feel absolutely awful. And if I look at my life, like, that's pretty true. And I look
Really?
for that balance. I look for that like point in my life where I'm like, if things are all too good, I'm probably like not pushing it hard enough. And if things are all too bad, then it's like it's out of whack a little bit. But actually, like, nothing is ever like linear. Nothing's ever like always the same. And so I always think about the rule of thirds. Like, can you imagine if we posted our Instagrams like the reality of life?
Yeah.
Like, the real wouldn't look as nice.
No.
But it's like, but that's the truth, right?
No.
There's a lot of bad days. There's a lot of things that don't work out for me.
I also see you, the Rachel Wynn. You said, "I love you and I can't wait to get this book."
Ah!
I feel like
What a
Rachel
joy!
definitely spoke for everybody, because this book is selling like crazy already. You guys are commenting shop wherever you're watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you're commenting shop so you get that copy, and many copies for the women and people around you that deserve to start with yourself. When you meet fans, what is the number one thing you're hearing? Because your number one hope is to influence people and to help them get to where either you are, or to get to their very best dreams of their own.
I want a million little Emmas. Like, that's what I want. Like, the point for me is that when you come from a place that, you know, perhaps the expectation on you is lower, or you don't have like such a great education. I always felt that. I felt like a little inferiority complex when I would go into workplace. I'd be like, oh my goodness, you know, it's like, I don't have the same education. I'm not as smart as everybody here. That really has nothing to do with success. That has nothing to do with like the trajectory of your life. It's actually so much more about the choices that you make and the way that you treat yourself and the decisions that you make, and having this like idea of like a vision for yourself. And when I talk about vision, I am not talking about a vision board or manifesting.
Yeah,
or
what
like,
is your idea of a vision?
Well-
and how do you cement it?
well, listen, if you buy the book, you'll really understand that. because I talk people through what it means and how important it is to hold a vision for yourself.
Yeah.
Because the other thing is, it's like we kind of overestimate what you could do in a year and underestimate what you can do in 10 years. And so I think it's really important to hold like a long-term vision for yourself that really speaks to like, how do I want to live? What do I want my day to look like? Like, am I dreaming of a big family, or do I want a freedom in my life where I can run around the world and do all of these amazing things? But having a crystal clear idea of how you want to live and then figuring out a plan that's actually going to get you there is the first step. And that's what I talk about in this book. I talk about having a vision and getting a hold of your emotions. And then we talk about these kind of rules that exist in the culture for women, because that's what I ultimately want this book to do. I want this book to dismantle the rules that are held in the culture for women. And I'm explaining why they just ain't so.
I've also seen in one of your recent podcasts that you mentioned that execution is sometimes even more important than the vision. So in your book, how do you get us to balance that? What is important when it comes to the vision? What is important when it comes to execution, and how to start with yourself bring us?
Oh, I love that question. I love that question. Well, here's the thing, because I feel like the best ideas in the world will fall apart if you don't have a fantastic plan. And what I always kind of like chafe against a little bit is this idea that I'm self-made. It's like, it takes so many people to do what I do.
Ooh.
So many people, huge teams, the best people, and you can execute anything great without people. But those relationships start really early. And one of the things that I talk about, because so many people come to me and they're like, Emma, I want a mentor. I don't know anyone. I'm not networked enough. But your mentors are whoever is around you. You know, your mentor could be a colleague. When I first came to this country, I had no idea how to make clothes. I learned from the people that I employed. I like surrounded myself with women who were just like incredible and had been in the business for a long time. And I listened and learned and watched. Shout out to Melissa Anderson, Lindsay Frawley. But they're the people, they still work for me to this day, I'm very proud to say. But they are the people that taught me everything. And so I think that your relationships, how you present yourself, making what you want really known, is the beginnings of you starting to make all of the things that you want in your life come true. And so when we talk about vision and execution, it's putting yourself in the right place and the right space and surrounded by the right people, and not imagining that you need to be everything. And I think that that is what I understand about execution, that it ain't all about me. It's about who I surround myself with and who I've been able to
nurture the relationships.
Yeah, and really make sure that those relationships are like a two-way street, and it starts really, really early in your career.
And you guys can start right now by commenting shop for the link to order. Make sure if you're watching on Facebook or Instagram, I want to make sure I'm telling you guys this because these books are selling like crazy. I think I just saw, are we already at 300 books sold in just a few minutes? I'm blown away by this.
I'm gonna walk around with you every day now.
She's got a stack here, and I'm going to convince Emma to personally sign these.
I'm signing.
I want you guys to get a personally signed book. So if you click shop button right now on the Talk Shop Live, if you're watching from there, click shop, you're going to get a personal signed autographed copy of Start With Yourself. And if you're watching on Instagram or Facebook also, girl, right there. Oh my God, I'm so excited about this. Make sure that you're clicking the shop button. Make sure that you're commenting shop. This book had to be, is this a new chapter for you now that you're seeing yourself as an author? Like, how does this now pivot you in everything you've already done?
No, oh my God, can you imagine? I can't even, for me, it's unimaginable that I've even managed to write a book in everything else that I do. But Jeannie, what I love is like coming to work and being in the office every day.
You do love coming to work. I see you on your Instagram coming out of that elevator, girl. You got a little pep to your stuff each time. I'm like,
I love coming to work. No, there's good days and bad days. But no, you know what? It's like I feel so lucky and so blessed to get to do the job that I do. And, you know, it's like I worked all the jobs. I did all the things to be in a position that I am now. And so the idea of like not getting up every day and being in the office, like I can never imagine that. I think that there is some stuff that you're given and some opportunities that you're given that you just can't ignore. And I
Yes.
really saw this. There's a lot of business books out there, right? And I just think there's not a lot of business books that are written by, you know, high school dropouts that are mums of four that have built multiple things. And
Yeah.
so there's a lot of different ways to get to success. And I think that, you know, one of the things that I always talk about is that, you know, at the end of the day, I really truly believe that talent is fairly evenly distributed, but opportunity isn't. And not everybody's given the same start.
Yeah.
And so we have to take different paths and different ways in to what we want to do. And so I'm just giving an example of the path that really worked for me.
Right. How do you deal with, okay, the word is buzzing a lot around these days with imposter syndrome.
Oh, yeah. I
And
don't
you're
have that.
None at all.
I don't have that. I never had it, you know, and I understand.
Do you think it's a thing, or is it something
Yeah,
we're
it's
making
a
up in our
thing.
head?
No, I don't think it's a thing. And I think it's, you know, specifically for a lot of women. There's two things that really have helped me, and I talk about it a lot in the book. Imposter syndrome and people pleasing.
Yeah.
Neither of them are conducive to, you know, being really successful.
Right.
But again, it's just like a muscle. Like,
Have you
can
ever dealt
train-
with that at all, even people pleasing?
No, I don't have that. I don't have people pleasing in me.
Okay.
But it's just not a muscle that I'm exercising, but I understand it and I see it because
Yeah.
I employ hundreds and hundreds of women. And so I understand the urge to people please, and I know why it's out there, and I know why people think that that is a path to success. And so much of what I talk about in this book is why people pleasing actually, it doesn't help anyone.
I will definitely tell you, as a friend to so many who tell me about their woes in life, a lot of women deal with people pleasing issues.
Yeah,
for
but
some reason.
You can't be a people pleaser and a leader.
So let's talk about that. When do you know that you have turned into a people pleaser?
When you're doing things that go against your vision, right? I feel like I'm in a constant conversation with myself, and I feel like the older you get, and I know a lot of people watching this will be much younger, but I will tell you, the older you get, the closer you get to yourself, the more that relationship that you have with
Yes.
yourself strengthens. And when you're younger, you do things that are maybe out of character or just feel like the right thing in the moment. And I think what's really important, even when you're young, when you're in your teens and your 20s, is to have a vision about your life and who you want to be,
Right.
as much as like what type of career you want, because you should make decisions based on that, right? Not about other people, not about what other people might want to see. And that's what start with yourself means. You have to get a little bit selfish.
Yeah.
You have to get a little bit close to what it is that makes most sense for you. You can't walk around imagining that pleasing anybody else is going to help you move forward. And that's what I'm talking about when I talk about hold a vision. It isn't like, where do I want to live? It's like, how do I want to act?
Right.
What kind of girl do I want to be? Like, what kind of, how do I want people to experience me?
Yeah.
And actually, it doesn't help anyone when you are not honest and truthful with yourself. And that's where people pleasing gets really dangerous, when you're not being true to yourself.
I think that's one of my favorite chapters in the book, is when you really get honest about your maturity and emotions and your search to find who you are. And you even talk about a stint that you had, a time that you went to Hoffman to really like do the work and unpack some of the stress.
How California of me to do the Hoffman.
Right. I was like, girl, you sipping tea over at Hoffman. Who do you think this book is for? Is it for the entrepreneurial woman? Because it sounds like it's not just that.
No, I think you're right, actually. You know, I think for me, I really wrote the book for anyone who just wants to live a life that they dream about. And I called the book, you know, A New Vision for Work and Life, because the honest truth is that when you do something that you love, it finds its way into your life. Like, I don't separate what I do. I don't stop at a certain time. Like, my whole work and life and family is all one, and it's all intertwined. And you know, it's like, I've spoken a lot about balance, you might know, and I really believe very strongly that to try to separate them, to try to like come up with this mystical balance,
That's
isn't
actually
really
what's causing
helpful.
all the drama.
I really believe it is what's causing all the
Yeah.
drama. And, you know, it's like, for me, it's kind of, you know, I think this whole myth around work-life balance is career suicide at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I think that you should really try
We need to
work
reframe
towards
it.
what it's like work towards what you want and work really hard for the things that you want, and you'll have a much healthier idea of work more generally.
Absolutely. I love that people, not just here in our ecosystem of LA and America, but people in Australia and Argentina are freaking out because they cannot buy the book. You
No
guys, we see,
way!
and listen, you can buy the book because if you're outside the US, you can actually start with yourself by going to emmagrede.com and you can buy directly from her site. So go to emmagrede.com, buy the book, and make sure that if you're watching, comment shop in the links will be sent to you. And also if you're watching on YouTube, you can also comment shop, and then we're going to send the link to you as well. And of course on TalkShop Live, just hit the link to shop directly. So who do you think that this book why do you think this book is going to be different from any of the other business advice books or the self-help books out there? Like, how is this book different? Because I know I've seen your house. You've got a stack of these books there. How did you make sure that yours stands out?
You know, I read so much. I think that what I tried to do was be really, really honest. You know, I heard some little whispering. So I was like, are we okay? What happened? Oh, good. They're like nodding away to us. What I tried to make sure is that this would be useful and that it would be a tool and that it would be something that you could actually use. And I feel like people are nobody has much time. Everybody is so they're working hard and they're so busy.
Yes,
and so
girl.
I tried to take something that you could read in like quick and easy chapters and take something away from it and move it into your life tomorrow. Like, I'm not telling you the story of my life. There's a bit of stuff in there,
Sure.
but I'm trying to actually give you like, this is something that will work. Like if you think about it this way, and if you reframe your thought this way, and if you take the example that I'm giving you in this book based on my experience, you'll actually see a little step change and you'll start to think about things differently. And that's what I'm really hoping for.
And not only that, but alongside this book, you're giving us actual takeaway by visiting us in different cities. You're starting your tour very soon. So girl, you're taking this book on the road.
I'm taking it on the road.
This is exciting. So people are actually going to see you in their very own cities. Let's talk about which cities you're visiting.
I mean, it's so
How
crazy.
is this tour happening?
First of all, I don't actually know how it's happening. It makes me so, I don't actually understand how I've ended up doing a tour, but we're going to do a tour. So I'm starting in New York.
Okay.
Then we go to LA. I'm going to get the order wrong. We're going to go
I heard you go to the Bay Area, girl.
We're going to San
My home.
Francisco. Yes, of course, we're going to San Francisco. We are going to go to Chicago, to Atlanta, to, where else am I going? To DC.
Oh my God.
How many other cities am I doing? LA, New York, San Fran, Chicago, DC, Atlanta.
I know you're doing London.
I've got Boston. Thank you in the back. Don't forget Boston.
London.
And then London.
So good.
We're going to
what's
end in
happening
London.
at these tour, and you guys can get the tickets to her tour to visit Emma in person at emmagrede.com. What's happening on your book tour?
Do you know what? I really want to make sure that, just like the book, that it's really useful for the audience. And so I am asking my audience, what do they want to see? We're really going to dive into the books, and we're going to dive into the concept in the books to make sure that people understand what is going to be helpful and useful for them. We're talking about leadership and success, and we're going to talk about imposter syndrome, and we're going to talk about all the things that actually are in our minds every single day.
Right.
And I may have some very special guests.
I was going to say, you got some fancy friends, girl.
Listen, you know me. You know me. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone, but it's like some of our friends. There's going to be some incredible men and women that come on the tour.
That's important.
It's very important, because so much of what I've learned has come from the men that I'm in business with. And I actually think that that's really important. There's a lot of great stuff that we can borrow from the boys. And I've done that my whole career. It's like I talk about people like Mark Cuban and Michael Rubin and Charlemagne the God. I talk about these men in the book who have been enormously successful and massively impactful in my career. And of course, we want to learn from from the best.
Yeah, we've got to learn from everybody who's sitting in the sandbox
At
together.
the table.
And guys, this is crazy news. We've already sold 400 books, and that's just getting started because I know you guys are still clicking shop. I know you guys are getting that link sent to you, and I know you're on emmagrede.com right now to get those tour tickets because those VIP tickets are already selling out. I believe that you're completely sold out on VIP tickets.
I know, which is so crazy. So I'll get to meet people backstage. I'm dying. I mean, honestly, because like my interaction with people is like random and on the street and backstage at a conference or something. So I don't know, to get in front of an audience, and I know this from the podcast, right? Like I happen to have the most incredible, ambitious, hungry people that are around me and that follow me and listen, and so it's a gift. It's a gift to even be able to sit in the same room, and I can't even imagine the energy. Like it's going to be wild.
Guys, I have been blessed to be in different rooms with Emma, and her energy is infectious. Please get the tickets to make sure that you see her in any city. Get your girlfies, like you guys get together, make it a girls trip. Like
that's a good idea. That's how we're going to do it.
Like get a book for your friend. Have it signed because Emma's signing the copies here. And then you're going to make a little description to tell them the date that Emma's going to be on the tour. And you guys are going to make a date out of it and send them the invitation to be there at your Emma Grede book tour. Like that's the way to make a girls trip, right?
Right
that's
there.
the way we want to do it.
That's a gift right there.
Okay, I want to talk about also this balance thing that you've mentioned because this I think that is, you just kind of turned my head a little bit in a reframe because I feel like we're taught that we have to try to find balance so that we can feel like we're sitting here holding different hands up, like we're like a demigod trying to like make it all happen. But how do you integrate that in actual practice? Like how do you integrate work-life balance? What do you do? Because I see you watching the kids on your own. I see you spending dinners with them. Then I see you running these companies and you're on your podcast. Like how do you, Emma Grede, actually do it?
I say no all the time.
You do?
Yeah, it's like I have my goals and I say no to everything that is not getting me closer to my goals because it's a trade-off.
You say no to anything that's not bringing you closer to your goals.
Yeah. All the time. And the thing to think about with that, Jeannie, is that when we talk about trade-offs, people imagine that you're just saying no to all this like not so fun stuff.
Yeah.
I say no to so much stuff that I want to do all the time.
Yeah.
That's what a trade-off is. So it's like I can't be in all the places that I want. I can't do all the things that I want. And as the opportunities get more and more juicy, I'm like, I have to say no to those too. But that's when it comes down to making sure that you are making decisions based on the stuff that you want, right? Because we're so bombarded with so much messaging and so much stuff on social. You have to be like, is that important to me? Is that aligned with the type of person I want to be, the mum that I want to be, the friend that I want to be, the sister that I want to be? And if it is, then you make your decisions and you're like, great, I'm going to do that stuff. But if it isn't, and it just feels like an obligation, or even worse, it's part of your people-pleasing tendencies, then don't do it. Trade it off. Trade it off for something that you do want to do.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
Is it easy for you?
No, it's always a struggle because like I said, there's stuff that I do want to do that I still have to say no to because I signed up for a certain type of life. And with that becomes a bunch of responsibility. It's like sometimes I'd rather like, I don't know, do something with my friends instead of do something that like maybe my kids want me to do, but there's an obligation there.
Yeah.
It's a trade-off. Like you signed up for something, you have to do it. There's no choice. But I do think that when you have a strong idea of yourself, right? When you are listening to your heart and you're following the things that are important to you, it gets clearer and clearer. And in the end, you don't even need to like think about it as like, oh, I'm missing out on that thing. Cause you're like, oh, that thing's like not really aligned with me. That's just like some obligation. That's somebody else's idea of what they want me to do.
I will say we managed to stretch you on a couple things that you're able to do for us right here because you guys are watching. You are giving away some book tour tickets. You are making this happen, Captain. So even though all of the VIP tickets are sold out, book tour tickets are actually being gifted. And you guys have a chance to receive 2 book tour tickets if you do these few things right here, okay? So listen up. If you follow both Aspire and Emma's Instagram and TikTok accounts, if you purchase a book through TalkShopLive, which all you have to do is click the shop button and you'll get that link sent right to you to purchase, and you send a screenshot via DM to enter, Oh, that's so easy. Please send a screenshot. Like, let's just smile so we get our screenshot. Here's our screenshot. Send that screenshot right on in, okay? And then the winner will be announced on Monday, March 9th. You will get 2 free book tour tickets. That right there is a giveaway. I am so excited you're giving away tickets.
We have to give away
Screenshot
tickets.
away, please. I
Oh,
can't
I
wait to
love
see
that.
and hear all the stories.
You
Will
better
please
be there.
Feature your stories. I will, absolutely. But feature like all the people that you meet. I can't wait to see
Can you imagine?
everybody
Oh,
from all
yes.
these different
Yes.
areas and all these different ages and friends that are coming
Well,
to see
and
you.
all the stories, like to me, because it's so feeding, right? Because we
Right.
know that everybody's at different stages and everybody has different questions. And that's why I'm so curious to hear, like, what are the things that people most want to know? Like,
Yeah.
we were doing episodes really recently about how to do an incredible interview. And people went crazy because everybody has to interview for a job. Everybody needs
Yes.
the tips. And no one teaches you to interview well.
My
ever.
favorite that you've done on the podcast is the worst things to do in an interview.
Oh.
And I love that you threw out there, like, why are you not asking questions at the end?
Ask the
That's-
question.
I say that when I hire people and they're like, no, I'm good. I'm like, we're done. Because you're never good. If you still want the job, there's always something more you could ask. Just to show me
Totally.
how enmeshed you are in this opportunity.
Exactly.
It's so good.
Just for that. Just for that.
You give us so many little life hacks in business. Like another one you talk about are rules that exist in culture. These secret rules that you've actually managed to streamline so that we just know walking in what to expect. Tell me, what are those rules and how can people challenge them?
Well, here's the thing. I think that this book is really about trying to dismantle some of the kind of deeply held beliefs, or really kind of like, I think that there are things that are embedded in the culture that are uniquely there for women,
Yes.
that just don't exist for men.
I can
right?
feel it. I can feel it
You just know it.
holding me in, yeah.
How we think and speak about like money, and the idea that it's like, you know, impolite to ask for what you want and to have a level of directness
Right.
about what you want. And so I think that, you know, women have been culturally programmed to avoid the exact behaviors that actually lead to wealth and to opportunity and to visibility. And so what we're talking about in this book is like, if you want all of those things, you're going to need to unprogram yourself.
100%.
And half of the unprogramming is just understanding, well, what's there? What is something that's just in the culture, but it ain't
Yes.
true. It's
Yes.
just not so. And so as soon as you start to understand that and unwind it, you can rewind the behavior, but you have to have an awareness with it.
You have to have an awareness with it.
Yeah, you have to have an awareness of what's happening, an awareness of the stories you're telling yourself, and an awareness of like how you're doing things that perhaps have become like unconscious to you.
I'm going to even add to that. I think self-awareness is also critical when it comes to building business, being in rooms, knowing how you come off.
Yeah.
Right? I think that some women do things, but they don't know how it reads and how they come off. And your book actually, you actually are very real about how much you've kind of altered and shifted the way you present yourself and the way
Yeah.
you ask for things. And that takes some time.
That takes some time. And that's what I want everybody to know. This stuff is not overnight.
Right.
And also, you're not supposed to just know this. You learn it, and we learn it, and we have to share. We have to give the information. And we want to be like super generous with the
Yes.
information. There's like no gatekeeping here. It's the opposite of that. This is like free game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like not free because you have to pay for it.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
you know, it's like fairly cheap game. I want people to understand like these are the things, this is the unlock. Like if
Yep.
you work and behave like this, there's going to be like a seismic change in the way that you live and work and get to be.
There's so much value in this book. I'm actually surprised how little it cost for me to just get all that you packed in here, because I feel like you kind of wrote it in a way that it's almost like even a love letter to your daughters. Like it feels like,
Oh my gosh, it's
right?
crazy that
There's
you say
so
that.
much takeaway.
You know, like people keep saying to me, are you going to write another book? It's like I really in my heart would love to write like the tween version of this, you know, because when we talk about cultural programming, like you
Yes.
want to get girls where they're young, you
Yeah.
want them 10, 11, 12 years old.
Yeah.
And so I thought about my daughter so much when I was, you know, I have nieces that are 16 and 19, and I have a daughter who's 4 and a daughter who's 9, Lake and Lola. And I was really thinking about all of the women in my family and trying to think about how you impart some of the things that you've learned in a
Right.
way that even they could understand. And, you know, I feel like information is so often something that once you get that you feel like, oh my goodness, like if I tell everybody else this, then, maybe I'm going to lose it. If I share this, then, it's no longer mine. And so I want to encourage the complete opposite of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think is the most important takeaway or exercise from your book? Because there's so many levels to it. There's self, there's finance, there's relationships, there's motherhood. What is the most important takeaway you want your readers to
I
experience?
think that I have this brilliant friend, and she's quoted in the book, Diane von Furstenberg, and she always says the same thing. She says, the most important relationship you'll ever have is the relationship you have with yourself.
Yeah.
And, when you talk about this idea of starting with yourself, that it's like important to strengthen that relationship, knowing what you want, asking for what you want, being unapologetic for what you want.
Right.
Like these are like key. It's not just key for you in your life, in your, in your business life and in your career. It's key for you in your life, like
Absolutely.
in the way that you live. And so I think that would be the most important thing, to really kind of delve into this idea of like yourself. What does that even mean to you? And the more you think about that, I honestly believe the more successful you'll be. And it isn't about being selfish. I think that a lot of people think, goodness me, I did an interview with someone recently. She's like, I can't believe you open the family chapter talking about yourself. You're a mother of 4. And I was like, but it is about me. It's like,
Totally.
I'm the mom of these 4 kids, and I need energy, and I need the enthusiasm, and I need the money, and I need the, longevity in my career to be able to look after all of those kids. And so I'm really serious when I say, like, for women, I want to erase the idea of what it means to be selfish. I want to erase the idea of what it means to be a people pleaser. And I think that really being unashamed and, unapologetic about looking after ourselves is the way forward.
Every single person watching right now, if you have not clicked the link to shop your book, if you haven't commented shop to shop the book, if you have not bought the tour tickets from emmagrede.com, I don't know what's wrong with you, okay? We're going to have a one-on-one right now, because right now, this right here, this is what you want in your very own fingertips, sitting right by your bedstand or in your hometown. So make sure you get those tour tickets at emmagrede.com, and make sure that you're hitting shop. For whether you're watching YouTube, you can click the link in the description, or if you're watching from Facebook or Instagram, just comment shop and you'll get the link as well. And I'm also going to check off some audience questions. So hit me with the questions.
I love an audience
I have a
question.
couple questions right now from your major fans out there. What do highly ambitious women need to know about business? Like, what do you think is the most important takeaway when it comes to highly ambitious women that misunderstand what fulfillment is about?
I think that there's a couple of things here. The most important thing to know about business is that you've got to be in it. You can't theoretically be in business, right? Like I see so many people that have ideas and hopes and dreams, and then get really worried about like how they're going to start and how they're going to be perceived. You just got to go.
Get into it.
You just got
You
to
gotta
go.
fail.
Whatever it is, however small it is, however ridiculous it might seem, because there's no replacement for actually just getting out of the gate and being in it. And nobody's giving you prizes for like a PowerPoint or a keynote that sits on your desktop. You got to go. Ideas are worth nothing. Execution is everything. You got to go and you got to get out. That's the most important thing. And often it's just about the fear that you've set up in your own head. And so much of, there's a whole chapter on fear in my book, because that is largely what's holding us back. It isn't the reality of the culture or the commercial landscape. It's all of this stuff that lives in our heads. Like one of my favorite quotes is like, don't let your biggest enemy be living between your own ears, right? Don't let it be here. So get out in front of it and take the fear. It's never, ever as bad as you might think.
Did you have any fears writing this book?
Yes, of course.
What was the hardest chapter for you to write?
I actually think it was probably like the intro to. First of all, I wrote the book back to front because I wrote about the rules that exist in culture, and I wrote about building a brand and a business. And then I was like, well, how can I do that? Oh yeah, I've got ahead of my emotions. Oh, how do I do that? But I need to talk about vision. So the book actually was written from the back to the front.
That's interesting, because I feel like that's how it is getting to know you. Like, we meet you here, and then you get
and then you get in.
Yeah.
I'm hard to know,
Yeah.
But that's the truth. I think that it was probably the introduction, because knowing where to start and introducing people to the real you when you are someone who's in business and somebody that prides themselves on doing the work first, it's kind of difficult to be honest and vulnerable. But I knew if I wasn't, then the book would not be helpful to anyone.
Absolutely. I have an audience question, and this is such a thoughtful one. If someone applied just one concept from your book starting tomorrow morning, what should it be?
If they applied one concept, that's tough. I think that it would be the piece around not allowing your emotions to do your decision making for you.
That feels virtually impossible for women who are such beings of emotions, but it's a superpower.
It's a
if you
superpower.
can separate it,
it's a superpower.
What is the action to do that? How do you wait till your emotions subside? Do you separate the emotion and try to think logically? Like, how do you physically do that?
It starts by having the awareness that they're there, right? I was a very angry kid. Like an angry kid who ended up putting herself through anger management, because so much of what I wanted would never happen if I continued to let that be the leading emotion. And so what I did was start to understand that this wasn't a way to live, and tried to get a hold of it. But it takes an awareness from the beginning. So if you're operating from a place of fear, if you're operating from a place of guilt, if anger is a default for you, you got to know that, and you got to get to grips with it. So that will probably be my single biggest, most important thing that you can do over everything.
Wow.
Don't let your emotions control your decision making.
As I'm watching you answer, I can see what a hurdle it seems like you went through to learn that, to deposit that in the book.
Oh yeah, I didn't get it first time.
Yeah. Do you feel like now writing this book, does it change the way you lead in business today?
No, I don't think it is, because I have been trained into being a good leader. I'm a much better leader now at 43 than I was, in my first company at 24, 25. But that also comes from experience. When you started at the bottom, you become the leader that you wanted,
right.
And I had many, many bad examples of leadership on my way up. And so I was always thinking in the back of my mind, like, when I'm in charge, like, here's the way I'll do it. This is the way I'm going to be somebody that people look up to, and be the person that is running the thing. And I'm really happy to say, it's like I have a very specific leadership style, but I'm pretty firm and fair. And I think most people have a very clear idea that I've got really high expectations, but by the same token, you're going to get quite a lot out of me if you work around me.
Okay, we've got juicy 10 minutes left with you.
Juicy?
I'm not letting you getting anywhere, because in these 10 minutes, I'm going to get your audience questions. I see you guys hit me up. Thank you. I'm going to get to those. I also want to make sure that you're commenting shop in the link, that you're going to emmagrede.com to make sure that you get the tour tickets to a city near you, and that you're buying these books for your friends and family and your mom and people that you care about around you. I think this is such a beautiful gift of almost like an introduction to yourself. This feels like a manual to yourself that you just have to have locked in, so you have the blueprint.
I really, really hope so.
Right?
I really wrote it thinking, how would you make sure that when people get something, they feel it's of value? And I feel like everything that I try to do, especially, if it's around the book and it's around the podcast, and I learned this in business, if you're giving people true value, if you're giving people something that they can actually do something with, then you're going to get it back. And so it's like, if you listen to Aspire with Emma Grede, I hope that you're taking notes. And like my favorite Instagram to get is when people like take pictures of their notes, and they copy me in their stories, and they're like, here's all the notes I made on this episode. Like, I die for that. And that's what I want from the book. There's a whole section in the back of the book where you can just make your notes, because I envisaged that people would be like, oh, like I have this, I need to work on that, I'm going to try that, I'm going to do this thing that she suggested. And so it's like, I believe if you put your all into everything, like every part of you, not just the bits you want people to see, the good, the bad, the ugly, the hard, the indifferent, like the whole thing, that people will respond to that and they're going to give back. And that's all I want. I want people to read it and find it useful and go, I'm gonna have a try with this for myself.
Yeah. You know, when I got your book, Emma, I ripped it open and I was so excited. I thought it was going to be like, I don't know, this gorgeous black and white photo of just you in like a pulled back bun, like
Like
and
I was in my own Saint Laurent campaign.
Completely. I was like, full, you know, I don't, Herb Lebowitz, like taking your picture, but I was like, wait, where's the photo? So
where is she?
Let's just talk about this really quick, because you told me this personally, but I think it's interesting. Tell me about the cover of your book and why you chose it to be this.
Well, here's the thing. You know, everybody knows I'm an aesthete. I like things that are beautiful. Since I was a kid, I was obsessed with beautiful things, not just fashion, but like, you know, I like fabrics and I like, you know, beautiful sceneries, and I like my nails and
Girl, you
my
got some good
things
taste.
to look good. You know, it's like
we call it bougie here in America. Okay, that's what we call it. Okay.
I'm bougie. What are you going to do? Yes, I'm bougie. So I got this, but, you know, because I was like, for all of us that like have beautiful houses and gorgeous living rooms, you want my face on the front of your book? No. I was like, let's put it in the house and make it look beautiful in the house.
I'm dead. Not talking about our interior design with your book.
Yeah.
So good.
When
you're right.
Yes. This is what
Do you know how
it
many
is.
book jackets I've had to take out just because I want to look like I read, but I don't want your bald head sitting on here. I don't want just like, you know, big
and
old
when you like
earrings.
for those like people that are commuting to work, you want like to face it. No,
I actually
like
buy
chicness,
expandable book covers to
fabricness.
cover it. But this is chic. This actually, girl, this goes with every
This
outfit.
fabric is expensive, babe. This is
so
just,
good.
This is like the jeans. This ain't cheap stuff over here.
Okay, I'm gonna hit you with some rapid fire. How do you deal with embarrassment when it comes to your friends and family? Whether you're a business failed, you see yourself in the headlines, how do you deal with it when you face people the next
Shake
day?
it off. It's not that deep. That's what it is.
Really?
Yeah, just shake it off. Make a decision. Move on. Get over it. It's like nobody cares.
Nobody
Nobody
cares.
cares. Nobody cares.
Okay, what do you do to unwind?
Face it though.
Okay.
Let me just say that. What I don't do is I don't like things being ignored or brushed under the table.
Yeah, don't make it the elephant in the room.
No. I think you face it, and you really importantly, you have to learn from it. So like I always write down, like when things go wrong, I'm like, what was my part in that? Because I believe in this idea of like radical self-responsibility. So I'm like, what did I do so that I can avoid doing it again? So you admit it, you own it, you apologize if you need to apologize for it. Don't sweep it under the table, face it head on, and then move on. Get over it.
Wait, okay, that's huge, because you're so right. Owning it, ownership is such a huge part of grace.
Well, if you start with
And
yourself,
dignity.
sometimes you have to blame yourself too.
Girl,
Can't have one without the other,
yeah,
babe.
not everybody does. Got you. Okay. Emma Grede, what do you do to unwind?
Oh, so much.
I've seen you at a Beyonce concert, but Beyonce's not always touring. So, like, what do you do to unwind?
You know, I read. I'm an avid reader.
What do you read?
I read everything. Like, I'm the girl that, like, I love, like, business books. I love novels. I will reread a book if I really, really love it. And I cook. I do a lot of
You
cooking.
do cook.
Yeah.
You love that. Okay.
I love to cook.
When you look at a business idea today, what is one signal that tells you this is worth betting on? You open up your wallet, you're like, okay, I believe in this.
So two things. It's either solving a big problem. Like, I'm a massive consumer. I buy a lot of stuff. I know the stuff that I'm looking for. So if I use a product and I'm like, oh my God, like this is solving a problem, I'm there in my head. Otherwise, it's very founder led. I have invested in businesses that I was like, maybe this is not the business, but this founder is the thing. And so if I find somebody who is deeply knowledgeable and passionate and has so much conviction, it's like, I'm going to bet on a person all day long.
Ooh, I love that. And what would you say is your biggest fear today? There's got to be a fear. What's something that still scares you? Maybe something you haven't accomplished.
What is something that's, I mean, listen, you know, we're living in a very kind of wild time.
Oh, these streets are scary, girl.
It's scary out in these streets, that's for sure. But I don't know that I'm, you know, it's like, I'm hardwired to be positive, right? It's like my happiness level is like an 8 on like a daily. That's just like, do you know what I mean? It's like I'm an optimistic person.
I'm same, yeah.
And I think that when I see fear, the way my brain is wired is that I don't back out of things. If I see a problem, I go in. I'm like, I'm going to fix that. I'm going to do differently, or I'm going to fight it. Like, that's just how I am. So if I see like injustice, or if I see something that I think is wrong, I'm not going to be like, I'm staying away from that. I'm like, how can I be involved, and how can I change that? I'm just an active participant. Like, I really believe in, I'm just like not a backseat person. I'm not a passenger person. I'm never going to back out of a fight, ever.
I think what's so refreshing about you is how much you know who you are, even what you don't want to do, what you don't sign up for, what you're not good at. And I think getting over that instead of trying to be all of it is one of the greatest things we learn, unfortunately, towards our 40s. You know, but you sound like you have decided that early on. And that's one of the most important things we can do for ourselves, which you teach in your book.
I hope so.
So as we're rounding out today, and we've spent some time with your amazing fans who are going to see you guys in person, what would you say is the most important thing you want people to know after listening to you launch your book today?
I think that Start With Yourself is not about me at all. Start With Yourself is about you, and it's about what you can do, and it's about enabling everyone to really get to the point in their lives where they can make the best of their gifts and what they have. And I am really focused on like professional empowerment and career empowerment, but you don't get it without focusing on the rest. And so that's why the book is written as it is. I tried to write a book that is for everybody else based on the experiences and the truths that I've kind of had in my life. And I really hope more than anything else that people get it and they go, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to make a couple of big changes and I'm going to go.
Oof. Girl, this right here was life like changing to me. This book is one of my favorite books that I've ever read. I put this up there with my favorite books, which is Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Oh, so good.
I think 4 Agreements. And these are the 3 top books that I feel like have already just made such a substantial difference immediately in my life. So thank you for this. You guys, thank you so much for all the questions that you submitted. And if you haven't grabbed your copy yet, it's super easy. Just comment shop right now and secure your book today. And remember to go to emmagrede.com, and that's how you can secure your tour tickets. I can't wait to see your girly parties. You guys get all your friends together. Make sure that you show up and see all the fashion that Emma's about to bring to, and these fancy friends she's got, because you're going to have some friends pull up.
Yes. You know they're pulling up.
Oh, that's so good. So just comment shop right now. You can still secure your book. This was so much fun. I'm so excited about this.
You.
I'm so proud of you.
What a pro are you? Like, I mean, seriously, friends in high places. I was like, you know who's going to be really good at this? G-Mai. That's her.
Hey.
There she is. There she is.
So good, you guys. That was fun. That's fun.
You are so good at your job.
That was such a juicy interview though. Like, we were able to get in personal and you know, it was good.